When I mention coronavirus, most people think back to 2020, the mask we all hated to wear, the quarantine, the pandemic in and of itself, and the overall shock of COVID-19. But what if I were to tell you that this virus is not new to us? And in fact, it's been quietly living alongside us for a long period of time. In fact, this virus is not a singular virus. It's actually an entire group of viruses that can be transmitted to humans, but also animals as well. This virus is usually the suspect behind the common cold, which nearly everyone has at some point in their lives, especially during the wintertime when it's more communicable. So, while this virus is new to us, it's actually not new at all. So today I'm going to explain to you 3 things. The first one being what coronaviruses are and how they were discovered. The second one being the history of the coronavirus before the pandemic. And the third one being how COVID-19 itself differs from the other strains of coronavirus. So the first time scientists discovered coronaviruses was in the 1960s when they looked at when they were researching the common cold on humans. What they did was they looked at the virus under a microscope, and they had very unique traits that they saw. The virus contained tiny spikes that were coming out of the surface, and it looked to be like a crown. Because of this, the name corona was chosen, which means crown in Latin, or from Latin. Over time, scientists have found that the word coronavirus refers to the whole family of viruses. Normally, these viruses would not lead to the occurrence of severe symptoms, but COVID-19 has actually brought forth more severe symptoms. These viruses produce minor respiratory symptoms such as a runny nose, and a sore throat, and even a cough. We just discussed what the viruses are, so now let's explore how they affected people prior to the pandemic. Actually, coronaviruses have been infecting people for a long time. An example of a common strain is HCoV 229E. You don't need to remember the name to know what coronaviruses are, but what the most important thing is, you need to know that these can cause symptoms very similar to the cold, which we all get, again, at some point. So the question arises, if coronaviruses are not new to us, how does COVID-19 differ? Well, COVID-19 stands for coronavirus named SARS-CoV-2, which is a scientific name for it, which caused an infection in 2019. It was a virus that no one had ever saw or researched before. It was found in China at the end of 2019 as well. The new virus differed from the other ones because it was even more communicable, meaning it could be transmitted way easier. And it also had much more severe illnesses and caused more severe symptoms. So, what made them differ in a more significant way is that our immune systems were not used to this virus due to it just being let out and nobody had even heard about it before. So, this led to the virus being spread around the globe because of how transmissible it was, and it reached a global scale and caused a massive outbreak of pandemics all over the world. So later on, it's worth mentioning that with medical scientists, they helped to come up with a vaccine that can help fight against this virus, even though it was really hard and took a little while, but they did it. And now you've learned that coronaviruses have actually been around for a very long time. And we found out that they have been the main culprits of many cases of the common cold, and that COVID-19 is essentially a newer, more potent variant of a very old virus family. So now you've learned that the coronavirus is not something that came out of the blue in 2020, and in fact, it's actually been with us for a long period of time, quietly causing mild colds until one particular strand made a huge difference. So next time that you're ill with a cold, don't just take it as a simple cold. It could actually be one of the former coronaviruses, which are still reminding us that these tiny viruses have been with us for a long time, long before the pandemic made them a household name. Thank you.